computer.
And then she said.
And then it, why put
Hi, Mommy.
So he can do it. He's got other projects he's doing in his garage.
yeah.
Who, Wyatt?
Why,
Tom.
no,
Oh,
Tom.
Tom.
All right.
They seem to get along pretty well.
And
Yes,
he
well, I
didn't get
spend
them.
time with them and I say, Tom is fun.
Tom.
Wyatt is a Buddhist at heart,
Yeah.
because he separates the action from the actual.
Oh, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Kavita, take it away. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Claudia.
iPhone 61.
There's the river.
Hey,
Yay, going swimming.
looking good in Houston.
It always looks good in Houston, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It always looks like that, yeah.
Is that your bathroom view?
Yeah,
or
yeah, the bathroom
Sam. Well, Geshe Nima made the comment when he was here recently that everything depends on reliance on the gurus and the deities. And I'm gonna sort of expand based on my own experience and understanding that included in his statement would be this: everything depends on refuge would be another, everything in terms of our progress, if you want to use that term, our journey on a spiritual path depends on refuge or reliance on the veracity of the teachings and the practices, the methods of that path. And in some ways, the whole path itself, this refuge practice, the whole path, in a way, does nothing but lead us to a full surrendering, if you will, to the wisdom of that path. And we will go through all these different practices and meditations, and we read these texts, and it always ends up leading us back to another level deeper in accepting accepting the truth or the validity of the teaching itself, which is another way of saying that our refuge, our reliance, our trust, our confidence in the validity for us in what's being suggested as practices and view are valid. At least they're valid for us as we contemplate how we're going to direct our existence, not only in this lifetime, but in all lifetimes. So this refuge business and the preliminaries, I think you notice that monks never abandon the preliminaries in their, they can do the Dalai Lama and the preliminaries. It ends up that we're trying to attune our consciousness through this attitude of refuge and this confidence in the direction. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and chant these things. Visualizing, the groups and deities and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that you feel drawn to, and that confidence that you are developing all the way to Buddhahood. Sangye Chodam Sangye Chodam Nam Chanchu Adu Dabni Kyapsushi Dabni Chinyen Ipe Sonam Gi Trola Penshir Sangye Luparsho Sangye Chodam Soki Chodam La Chanchu Adu Dabni Kyapsushi Daki Chinyen Ipe Sonam Gi Trola Penshir Sangye Luparsho Sangye Chodam Soki Chodnam La Jamsu Badu Daki Kyapsu Chi Daki Shinyam Kipe Sonam Ki Roll up and cheer Sangye Drupa Vishto. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. And then think about yourself as being a cause for sentient beings abiding in these virtuous and happy states. You are part of the cause. Take a moment to refresh some visualization of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and just recollect that they're always here. You're invoking them intentionally right now, but in this beyond our sensory capacity, they're here and they've arrived and they're supportive in whatever way we are able to tap into their realm. And now we'll do the 7-limb prayer meditation, thinking about the fact that what we're doing is directing these 7 thoughts to those that have gone before us, especially the ones with whom we have direct contact. We're remembering our utter reliance on these guides. And so we say the 7 limbs, really recognizing our complete dependence on the guidance. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and mentally transformed. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the merits of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until samsara ends and turn the wheel of dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate the merit created by myself and others to the great enlightenment. Kind of a formula for reminding yourself of all the ways that you are reliant and all the ways that you participate in this great Mahayana vehicle. These are the behaviors and the thoughts and the things that we can participate in to preserve the Mahayana and be part of its great grand journey. Okay, so as we have talked about many times, our greatest offering to the guides who've gone before us and are leading us and sharing through various means, our greatest offering is the purified consciousness that we are working on, and all of the products of that consciousness in the form of visualized and manifest realms and realities that are pure and free from suffering. And that's our offering, is that we are committed to this journey as we participate in the creation of a realm such as this one that is described in the mandala offering.
Sajipaki Joshi Meto Okay, this week, Geshe Nima went to the stanza that was on the mindfulness of one's body as a divine body, as it's described in the Reign of Accomplishment texts.
See, this is what I was talking about earlier.
Okay, my mind did not go to sex, I have to tell you.
I know. Of course it didn't. Of course it didn't. Okay, and we're going to stop it right there,
Okay.
darling. Okay. So you may wonder, what does this mean, the mindfulness of one's body as a divine body? And this has to do with tantric teachings. And in Buddhism, as we have all discussed, consciousness is beginningless, it is endless. Consciousness, you could say, is one of the basic forces or elements of the universe, right up there with matter and energy. And so this is the way Buddhism views it. Some current scientists are starting to think along those lines as well. So Buddhism has always said that consciousness is capable of embodying many kinds of forms. So the form that we're talking about here is a very pure kind of energetic form. When we are thinking about, say, the Buddha Shakyamuni in the form that we see him in many of these tangas, well, that's depicting the Buddha in what is called the light emanation body. The entire body is made of light. As Geshe Nima said, it's sort of like this empty balloon of light, but it's energy. It's not a balloon. It's energy. Our human bodies actually have an energy overlay as part of them. And that is the basis of how we ourselves as a consciousness can eventually develop. As we purify our body, our speech, our mind, we can develop into a consciousness that embodies this kind of energetic kind of body with all of the capabilities that has to help others, to help other sentient beings. So I'm just going to read this stanza and then I'll explain some of the things that are in there. So we have an idea of what Geshe Nima is talking about then when he takes us through a meditation on this particular thing, seeing ourselves as a divine body, a divine being. So the stanza is, within the celestial palace of great bliss, delightful to experience, the divine body of your own pure aggregates and constituents abides. So in Tantra, there's a process where you imagine there is a sort of a celestial world that you live in. It's a divine world that you live in, and you imagine yourself as a divine being. It's the whole process of how we do anything. If we're going to learn how to be a really great doctor or a great musician or a great athlete, we imagine all of these things first. We practice basics, but we imagine what it's going to be like to get to that goal, to be able to be the great musician, to be able to get the ball into the hoop, to be able to be a wonderful doctor that can help others. So part of what Tantra is you are imagining what you can be, what your potential can be. As you recall last week, Geshe Nima said, one of the lazinesses that we have, that we engage in, is that we sort of bash our own potential. We get down on ourselves. We say, I can't do that. It's impossible. This is too much for me. And that basically is a form of laziness. It's your sort of, he called it offending. It's almost like we're insulting our own Buddha nature, the potential that we have to really, really take this consciousness to very, very high levels, not just the the one that appears to us now. In these bodies of flesh and bone and that, decay and die. So this is what it's describing. You're in this celestial palace, you have a divine body of your own pure aggregates and constituents. So you've done a lot of purifying, or you're imagining that you've purified yourself. So it says then, the next line says, the Yidam, Y-I-D-A-M, Yidam, the Yidam deity in whom the three kayas, K-A-Y-A-S, kayas, are inseparable right there in that celestial palace. That's who you're envisioning yourself as being. This Yidam deity, within whom the three kayas are inseparable. So what does that mean? Yidam it's a meditational deity. It's a deity that you use. It's a deity with particular qualities. Say, for instance, Manjushri. Manjushri is the Buddha of wisdom. Manjushri embodies the wisdom realizing emptiness, the complete understanding of non-duality, that there is no objective reality, that subject and object are non-dual. So Manjushri would be like a Yidam deity. They're very symbolic in the way they are presented to us. Same as Chenrezig, same as Buddha Shakyamuni. It's filled with symbolism, right down to the color.
Archetypes.
Yeah, they're archetypes. You could say archetypes. So this is what you're imagining yourself. And in this case, Geshe Nima is going to have us imagine ourselves as Manjushri. So we're thinking of ourselves as being this Yidam meditational deity, Manjushri, and all that Manjushri embodies. The meaning of emptiness, the realization of emptiness, the understanding of the nature of reality, that kind of wisdom. The three kayas, kaya means body. That's what the word means, kaya. So there are three bodies that we're talking about that this Yidam deity can have. One is called the Nirmana Kaya, and we've talked about this before. I remember I did little cartoons to show everybody what these different bodies were, the Buddhas and stuff, right? Do you remember those little cartoons?
The minute you said, I don't know, the minute you said cartoons.
Yeah.
So
you have there is a Nirmana Kaya, and many people say this is what His Holiness the Dalai Lama is. The Dalai Lama is a material manifestation in this world, in a physical form, of the Buddha of compassion, Chenrezig.
And that's, in English, they would call the emanation.
They call it emanation body, right? And
Emanating in a way you can
emanating in a way that you can relate with that person. You see that person, hear them. They have and look at the effect His Holiness has had on the world. I mean, it's quite an emanation that he's given out over the past 80-something years, 89 years. So that's the emanation body. That's the one we can see. Then there is, with our particular aggregates that we've got, then there is what's called the Sambhogakaya, and that means enjoyment body. And so when we see pictures in Tangas of like Shakyamuni Buddha or the Medicine Buddha or Tara or Manjushri or any of these deities that we see in Tanga, where they're depicted as if they're bodies of light, and that's the enjoyment body, the Sambhogakaya. So that's the second kind of body that a being could take, that we actually could take if we get to that level, to be of benefit to others. Then the third kind of body is called the Dharmakaya. And that means truth body. And what that refers to is simply the mind, the consciousness of an enlightened being. The consciousness or the mind of Shakyamuni Buddha, the consciousness or the mind of Manjushri. And see, none of these quote deities exist inherently. There is not an inherently existing Manjushri out there somewhere. There's not an inherently existing Shakyamuni Buddha out there somewhere. They are dependently arising constantly, and they are interacting with us. If they appear to us, it's because we have developed ourselves enough to be aware of that appearance. So these practices that we do, where we visualize, where we imagine we are, say in the refuge field and the Buddhas and deities are in front of us, or the merit field and they're in the sky in front of us. This is all a tantric practice. we're not told this initially, but this is a tantric practice. So it's kind of like tantric practice is like fake it till you make it. Keep imagining it, keep doing it, keep feeling, keep growing, feeling the connection, and growing in your capacity to understand what the Dharma is telling us. And eventually you get better and better and better and clearer and clearer and clearer. And this is what the path is about. This is why Tantra is part of the Mahayana path.
Since we're talking about this, I participate in an online group that's doing a particular practice on Kala Chakra, which is one of these deities. And some of the students, it has come up in the conversation that some of the participants have very little training in the top, what they call sutra or the Lam Rim type topics. And they have a very hard time understanding taking on board the emptiness. So what you see is almost like this danger of kind of trying to concretize these things in a way that actually derails the whole point.
This is why the whole path is important. The whole path.
I mean, and that's why, Geshe Nima, whoever one's teacher is the one that listens to you, talks to you, hears what you're saying, and starts to get a sense of, how firmly locked down is this person still trying to concretize everything. I can see it's a real problem because in a way you become a fundamentalist, something else.
Yeah, and this is absolutely the antithesis of what Buddhism is. Buddhism it's not a fundamentalist kind of view at all. It's very fluid.
Anyways, His Holiness also just a couple days, always says this, that he guarantees you'll make progress if you keep contemplating and studying and trying to understand and realize emptiness. Contemplating and studying and trying to realize and really embody bodhicitta. That those are the basic requirements.
Anyway, Geshe Nima, knowing that most of us are not tantric practitioners, purposely gave this meditation. So I'm taking a little bit of time to help explain it so that we don't fall into the trap when we go into this meditation, that we concretize and go, this is just weird. I can't be this. You don't concretize about this. Just imagine the potential that consciousness has. So what Geshe Nima is going to do in this meditation is he's going to go 3 times through a particular process, and each time is dealing with one of these kayas that we talked about. There is the nirmana kaya, the emanation, the form body. There's the sambhoga kaya, the light body, this enjoyment body. And then there's the dharma kaya, which is the mind, the consciousness, and the emptiness of the consciousness of this divine body, divine being, Buddha. So it's these 3 kayas that we're going to go through in this meditation. This is why he goes through it 3 times. I didn't understand this when he first did it because I didn't know what he was doing. But now I do. After, listening and writing this stuff down, I understand exactly what he was doing. So, okay. So here's again the stanza, and then we will go into the meditation that he gave us. Within the celestial palace of great bliss, delightful to experience, the divine body of your own pure aggregates and constituents abides. The Yidam deity, in whom the 3 kayas are inseparable, right there. Without clinging to ordinariness, practice divine pride and vivid appearance. Without allowing the mind to wander, remain in a state of profound clarity. Without losing mindfulness, remain in a state of profound clarity. We visualize in the space above and in front of us a big lotus seat, a lotus throne. And upon that is our guru in the form of Manjushri. the Buddha of wisdom. Above our guru, Lama Tsongkhapa is in the form of Manjushri. Then above Lama Tsongkhapa is Manjushri himself. Above Manjushri is Buddha Shakyamuni in the form of Manjushri. So right at the get-go, we're being given the message that there is no inherently existing Manjushri or Shakyamuni or Lama Tsongkhapa. They are all able to take on this form of Manjushri. Therefore, we are able to take on this form of Manjushri. We do not inherently exist either. So now we go to the Nirmanakaya or emanation part of this meditation. We just visualize in the space above and in front of us those four gurus. And now you visualize all those gurus are coming to the top of your head and dissolving into your body. Your body itself transforms into Manjushri's body, the emanation or Nirmanakaya of Manjushri. You don't think of your body now as a contaminated body, but as an emanation body of Manjushri. Now we go to the Sambhogakaya, or enjoyment body of Manjushri. Again, in the space in front of you, visualize your guru in the form of Manjushri. Above your guru is Lama Tsongkhapa in the form of Manjushri. Above Lama Tsongkhapa is Manjushri himself. Above Manjushri is Buddha Shakyamuni in the form of Manjushri. All those Manjushris now come toward your forehead and dissolve into yourself. And you yourself, your body, also transforms into Manjushri's body, made of light, which is uncontaminated and pure. You yourself transform into Manjushri, free from all negativity, physically, verbally, and mentally. Your body is in the nature of light, the light of Manjushri's body, the Sambhogakaya or enjoyment body of Manjushri. You don't consider your body as a contaminated body. Now we go to the Dharmakaya, the truth body, the mind and the emptiness of the mind of Manjushri. Once again, in the space in front of you, you visualize your guru in the form of Manjushri. Above your guru is Lama Tsongkhapa in the form of Manjushri. Above Lama Tsongkhapa is Manjushri himself. Above Manjushri is Buddha Shakyamuni in the form of Manjushri. All of those Manjushris come to your forehead and dissolve into yourself, and your body also transforms into Manjushri's body. It is uncontaminated, pure. Now you yourself have transformed into the mind of Manjushri, free from all negativity, physically, verbally, mentally. You are of the nature of light. You don't think of yourself as ordinary now. Now you are as Manjushri. The Dharmakaya, truth body of Manjushri. Without clinging to ordinariness, practice divine pride and vivid appearance. Without allowing the mind to wander, remain in a state of profound clarity. Without losing mindfulness, remain in a state of profound clarity. And he said, thank you very much. So I would, I probably will make recordings of this too, because I would suggest that we do this, that we begin to practice this. It's new for many of us, I'm sure. What I have found over time, over the past, 20 years, is that now what used to seem just like imagining, and I know I didn't feel much of anything really. Now there's definitely feelings going on. Energy is happening when I do this. So I would say, just give it time and practice, and then continue. We have to continue with the studies of the Mahayana path. Otherwise, none of this is going to make sense. It's just going to seem like weird stuff. But even as we've discussed in some of our conversations of how different sentient beings experience completely different worlds based on the kind of body and sensory equipment they have, this lets us know that it is possible to experience things in different ways than we do just as human beings. And I think that helps a lot. That helps a lot with my particular mind. It's made a huge difference in understanding the potential and the possibilities that we have. It seems crazy, especially because we're so ingrained. This is being reality, objectively real. But this is exactly what these teachings are about. It's sort of like cutting through that illusory, deceptive view of things. And all of this, as you'll see today, this is going in that direction.
It's kind of striking me that how we emanate. So, the enjoyment body is kind of a nice we would, from our current understanding, you'd say it's higher vibration light. And the same consciousness that can appear in that way is currently appearing in this dense vehicle with all the problems and obstacles to happiness it's the same consciousness and just emanating a different potential.
If you remember those little cartoons I drew, the first one was a human being, and then there was the energy body of a human being. So part of our whole system it's not physical, it's not material. We have an energetic overlay that is in our body, and this is where all the chakras and the winds and the channels and all of that, they're all happening within our body. So we have the capability within us as humans, especially as humans, to work with that. This is what a lot of these practices are doing. And the breathing, the meditations, they're working with these particular energies. And once we understand that and know that's what we're doing, and we can get our mind on board with it through our study of the Dharma, our study of emptiness and what it's talking about, then I think we can really take off. I really do.
You know, it's almost like you study and get yourself aligned with this clear light consciousness.
Mm.
And, you know, based on that, it's as if we reach a point where we then choose what kind of appearance.
Whatever's going to be the most
So rather
beneficial.
than this involuntary samsara, they call it compulsive existence, where, okay, all my practices given me the ability to choose how I'm gonna appear
Mhm.
and what impact I'm gonna have on the realm that I appear in.
You know, one of the most interesting things for me about Tantra when I was first learning about it is Tantra just does not have, it's just not only these very nice, beneficial, beautiful deities, right? There are these wrathful deities. And if you look at some of the pictures of them, particularly Yamataka, you go, oh, don't let any guests see that. They'll think, you know, what cult are you part of? But I used to sort of be a little frightened when I would see them. But over the years, I have become so grateful that the wrathful deities are part of this practice. Because what the wrathful deities are doing is they're just cutting down our self-grasping, our ego, all of the things that get us in trouble. And these wrathful deities are emanations that help us. And I can't tell you how much I like them and rely on them. And I just think, God, this practice is great. You know, it has the wonderful feel-good things, but it also has these powerful, powerful things that we need. We need to overcome our egos, our self-grasping, our self-centeredness. I mean, we need to shake ourselves up. And I can't say enough about it. It's great. So usually when we talk, I'm now going back to the transcription. Usually when we talk about the mindfulness of one's body as a divine body in this stanza, we introduce the highest yoga tantra related with the generation and completion stages. So there was a stage where you generate yourself as this deity, and then there's a completion stage where you sort of transform into the deity. But most of our students have not received the initiation related with highest yoga tantra, so we shouldn't talk about this. And you know, we've been to several initiations with His Holiness the Dalai Lama on a particular tantra that we do, Kalachakra Tantra. And many people do that. Many of the monks have many. They go to many initiations. I have the impression from Geshe Nima that he's headed in that direction with us, and it's a good thing, you know, especially with a teacher like him, who understands. I mean, he's what, 26 years all the way through to tantric university, so he understands all of this. He understands the entire path, and he's getting to know us and getting to know what is the best way to work with each one of us. So I think it's a wonderful thing that's happened. It really is. So just this kind of visualization that we just did, he says, this is practice enough for now. It is very helpful in our day-to-day life. Okay, now he's going right back to it because he's doing another practice. And he's going to go into was going to go into the clear light mind at some point, but he says one more time, we visualize a lotus throne in the space above and in front of us. On that throne, we visualize a red sun disk. We've done this before. This refers to the wisdom of emptiness. On top of that red sun disk is a white moon disk, upon which your Lama is seated. The white moon disk refers to the unconditional love of bodhicitta. Your Lama, or Guru, who is seated on that white moon disk, is in the form of Manjushri. Above your Guru, you visualize or imagine that Lama Tsongkhapa is there in the form of Manjushri. Above Lama Tsongkhapa, you visualize Manjushri himself. Above Manjushri, you imagine Vajradhara or Buddha Shakyamuni in the form of Manjushri. Actually, there are many, many lineage masters, but we're talking in brief here. We are connecting to our guru and then connecting this lineage to Lama Tsongkhapa, then Lama Tsongkhapa to Manjushri, and Manjushri to Buddha Shakyamuni or Vajradhara, who are the same. So all those lineage gurus we imagine or visualize in the form of Manjushri. And we think in this way. When this teaching today is going on, we imagine or visualize that those gurus in the space above us are blessing us. They're sending blessings toward us during this whole class today and transmitting to us all the blessings of this lineage. So now he's going to go into the teaching. The main topic of this teaching, which is called the Four Mindfulnesses, the Reign of Accomplishments, the Four Mindfulnesses, the main topic is the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of bodhicitta. If we speak in a simple way, this is talking about wisdom and compassion, the two wings of the Mahayana path, wisdom and compassion. Both the Sutra and Tantra Buddhist teachings are based on compassion and wisdom. Because of our ignorance and negative karma, we beings suffer. That means that we don't have enough space in our heart to feel genuine compassion and genuine love. On top of that, we don't have the correct wisdom to differentiate that this is good, or this is bad, or this is destructive, or this is constructive. Whatever we learn, whatever we examine, we're supposed to get some wisdom from that. But most of our wisdom is corrupted. Instead of helping us, that kind of wisdom often leads us into problems. So we're talking about worldly wisdom. Through receiving the unmistaken transmission of this kind of teaching, we receive blessings connected to the bodhisattvas, gurus, and Buddhas. Now this, what he's getting into, is extremely important, so listen up. We're receiving the blessings, right? Through this kind of teaching. We're getting the blessings connected to the bodhisattvas, gurus, and Buddhas. However, without our own foundation in the Dharma, there's no way we can be blessed by the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas. So from our side, we must make an effort in our day-to-day life to increase our collection of merit, also known as positive potential. So in our day-to-day life, we need to intentionally try to increase our positive potential and our wisdom. This is the foundation that he's talking about, the foundation that we need. Additionally, based on that foundation, then we supplicate from our heart to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, our gurus, the bodhisattvas, all of the lineage masters, and then the Buddha. So in this way, we prepare and equip ourselves to receive the blessing. So what I would say is the practices such as the refuge visualization, the merit field, the seven limb practice, they all work exactly for this purpose. It connects our hearts and our minds to the lineage, and the practices such as the seven limb practice help us to develop positive potential, to get that going, rolling in us. That's what the seven limb practice is about, developing our positive potential. If we don't have this positive potential, we will not be able to make the connection we need to make with our teachers and with this path. Many people think If they just get a blessing, they'll be totally changed. Like, all right, I'm gonna go to the Kala Chakra initiation, and I'll just get the blessing, and everything will change. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. The blessing is achieved by our own self. If we make the effort, if we have some amount or accumulation of positive potential, and then based on that, if we develop some unwavering faith or pure devotion toward the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then we really get the blessing. They support us to activate ourself. The Buddha, Dharma, Sangha supports us to activate ourself. Like Geshe Nima mentioned, if we don't make an effort, if we don't make a connection, none of this is going to work. When we connect a light, a lamp, to electricity, we have the plug, we plug it into the outlet, and the light comes on. It automatically works. Similarly, if we have the foundation in the Dharma, then the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha can really transmit their blessing, connecting us to their power. Similarly to what, we plug the light into the socket and the connection is made. We have to be the plug that goes into the socket that makes the connection. And then we will receive that connection. And then they can really transmit their blessing, connecting us to their power. And then we can work together. The whole idea is we're working together with this lineage. We're working together with our teachers. It's not like they're just bestowing it on us, Many times when we listen to some... okay, I skipped. Buddha Maitreya said, although the kingdom of the gods and goddesses has plenty of rain, the seed in the field is already rotten. So no matter how much rain falls on the field of the gods and goddesses, the seed never will sprout. Similarly, from our side, if we always follow our negative inclinations and activities, mentally, physically, and verbally, externally, we may appear to be practicing, but internally, we're full of negative attitudes and negative thinking. This doesn't correspond or align with the Dharma teachings or transmissions, so what we become is like the rotten seed. Whatever important or sacred transmissions we receive, we can never link and connect them with our mind, with our body, with our speech. We should keep this in mind because this information is very important. So we have a job from our side to do. I mean, we have to make sure that our seed isn't rotten. So, we have our habitual negative tendencies, no doubt, and we will continue to, engage in those because they are habitual. However, by doing the practices that we've been given, like I said, refuge, the merit field, those practices will help us over time sort of purify all of that. We'll see the validity of it. We'll see from our own experience that we feel better, behaving in these ways, acting in these ways, speaking in these ways. Mm-hmm. So that's our job. That is our job. That's the part we have to do. Many times when we listen to some very holy Lama or Geshe, or our guru gives us a teaching, in our mind we think we don't have any responsibility in any of that from our own side. Or we think we don't have any determination to practice in our own day-to-day life. So we'll listen to many teachings on the internet or go to various teachings and then come home and we don't practice. We think, we've got to get some blessing from going to the teachings, and perhaps, yes, there is some little connection made. But when it really takes off, when you plug the plug into the socket, is when we start doing the practices, and then the whole thing begins to click, and we can actually work with these various energies, work with the Buddha Dharma Sangha, work with the Dharma, and really make some progress. So we've met this guru, we've met a Geshe or Lama, but sometimes we don't realize what a very, very rare opportunity it is in our life to have met them. I mean, we can take it for granted, but hello, just Geshe Nima alone, just take his example. Here's this young kid who, because of his dedication to becoming a monk to help other people achieve enlightenment, he traveled on foot over the Himalayas in the snow with the Chinese ready to kill them. And he made it all the way to India and then made it down to Vipul Monastery. And look at him. Look at him now. This kid, this young boy, he went through all of the training, the 26 years, and now he's he's teaching us. I mean, we should not take that for granted. We should take his experience into the equation of what's going on here. It's part of the karma that we have, and we should not consider it anything other than a really rare opportunity we have right now.
Right.
The most important thing for us to do in our own day-to-day life is to start reading and listening to teachings. Then, when we meet a Geshe, Lama, or Guru, we discuss with them what we have experienced, what we have read, what we have listened to. And then we compare the teacher's knowledge with our own understanding. If we have some question or doubt, then we share it with them. My experience is you can share anything with these lamas. And we were talking about Buddhism here. There is no taboo. It's not like other religions. It's not that way at all. You can share anything with them. So you share it with them, and they can help to clarify those doubts for us. Through that process, we can improve. The most important side is our own. Our own side is the most important. What we do. In the Mahayana Sutras, especially in the Tantra teachings, they say we have Buddha nature. This is very important. When we're talking about the Buddha, many people say that Buddhahood or nirvana or the enlightened state of mind is very, very far away from us. But this is just a hallucination, an illusion. The real Buddha is within us. And then he repeated it and stressed it, within us. So if we make an effort and get close to the Buddha which exists within us, through purification or through listening to teachings, by reflecting on the meaning of the Dharma, then contemplating and meditating, familiarizing ourselves, that's meditation, those positive actions bring us closer and closer and closer to our Buddha nature. As Shantideva said, if you practice bodhicitta, you will come closer to a comfortable, peaceful place. Many people just hope and expect something to happen. And I mean, we all do this. We think we're, I'm going to get this great teaching. I'm going to go to this empowerment, and something's going to happen. So we expect, it's almost like magic or something, right? As human beings, as sentient beings, we are not robots or some kind of mechanistic beings. We are animate beings, living beings. Not only are we living beings, we are sentient beings who possess consciousness. We are the product of consciousness. We are the product of our clear light mind. When we are born into this world, we come through the process of producing our positive karma from our clear light mind. And when we exit this life, we just dissolve back into the clear light mind. So we come from the clear light mind and we go back to the clear light mind. Through our practice, we finally become the pure product of the authentic or real nature of the clear light mind. Buddha means enlightened being, awakened being. A Buddha's body, speech, and mind are enlightened. During both the meditation stage and a post-meditation stage, so while you're in meditative concentration and after you come out of it, a Buddha's mind remains the same. There's no difference in terms of how the Buddha experiences or recognizes or has a direct experience of emptiness. No difference. Buddha's consciousness is in the nature of the clear light mind. We ordinary beings don't use our clear light mind. Our deluded mind or negative potential covers over our clear light mind. By covering the clear light mind, there's much more room in our mind to create lots of destructive emotions and destructive thoughts. Because of that, we leave lots of negative imprints within our mental continuum, causing us to cycle through this samsaric world. And lots of problems arise within this lifetime and in future lives. We don't think very much about our future rebirths or previous lives. We think within the limits of our unenlightened mind, our covered over mind. We go back to the clear light mind and we come out of the clear light mind, but we just keep cycling in samsara. Buddhahood will bring us permanently back to the clear light mind, permanently back to the clear light mind. Then on that basis of that enlightened clear light mind, we can take an enlightened body and generate enlightened speech, similar to the meditation we were doing at the beginning, imagining that we could do that. It begins by imagining that we can do it. Then we can help each and every being in infinite ways. Many people are ignorant about this kind of thing. We talk about having a nice future rebirth or some previous kind of rebirth, and in our mind, we think it's something that's very, very far from us. It's not far from us. Actually, we survive by breathing out and breathing in. This is the way we survive. When our breathing stops, we're in the next life. So it's not far from us at all. How can we understand this? Earlier, we visualized our gurus or lineage masters. So he's now going to do another meditation, and this one's on the clear light mind. So thinking again in this way of visualizing the gurus and the lineage masters, we now imagine or visualize Vajradhara. So it's from the top down, okay? Vajradhara dissolving into Manjushri, Manjushri dissolving into Lama Tsongkhapa in the form of Manjushri, then Lama Tsongkhapa dissolving into your guru, whatever guru you have in your life. Some people have many gurus. For example, in religious history, Atisha had around 50 gurus. But we can imagine many gurus in one form. What we do is we imagine the guru who is close to us. And then we imagine all gurus are the same entity as our close guru. So Lama Tsongkhapa dissolves into our guru, and our guru dissolves into our forehead. Imagine that your human body dissolves. Your body transforms into the body of Manjushri. Your speech transforms into the speech of Manjushri. Your mind transforms into the mind of Manjushri. And you are now in the form of Manjushri. Imagine you are enlightened in your body, enlightened in your mind, enlightened in your speech. So we think in this way and keep our mental focus on this thought. I am free from all negativity related with body, speech, and mind. The body serves as the basis for creating the sensory consciousnesses, eye, ear, nose, taste, tongue, smell. When the body dissolves, the sensory consciousnesses dissolve as well. When the body dissolves, our speech also dissolves. So what he's going through here is what is called a dissolution process, which is very similar to the process that occurs when we take our last breath and then we go into the next, we begin the journey into the next life. Okay, so just this is what he's doing here. When the body dissolves, our speech also dissolves. Our speech dissolves into the mind, the consciousness, the mental world. It goes back to the mental world. As far as the clear light mind is concerned, it is the best quality of the mind, the fullness of the mind, of the consciousness. So far, our clear light mind hasn't been contaminated by any deluded mind or any negative propensity. It is very, very clear. Like pure gold, which has been covered by the different layers of the earth. We think this way, in this way, about our clear light mind. And we go back to the mental world. So also imagine, as we're going through this, imagine what it would be like as you're dying to be able to carry this with you, this kind of thought, this kind of process. There are many. Okay, so now we think. Our body dissolves, our sensory consciousness dissolves, our speech dissolves, and finally we abide in the nature of the mind, the mental world. There are many layers of the mind. First, we think about conceptual thought, the gross level of conceptual thought. The conceptual thought of the waking state dissolves into the conceptual thought, which is at the same level as the dream state of the mind. The dream state of the mind or consciousness works without the sensory level of consciousness. It is more subtle than our waking state of mind. Then we think in this way. Within the mental world, the gross level of conceptual thought dissolves into a more subtle mind. And that mind dissolves into the mind of white appearance. This is specifically what we are told happens during the death process. This white appearance arises. When this mind manifests in us, we see everything as white. The mind of white appearance then also dissolves. The way we're talking about dissolving here is like peeling off each layer of a mountain to reach the gold that is covered by the many layers of the mountain. Imagine the process as being similar to this. The mind of white appearance dissolves, and then the mind of red appearance is manifested. In your mind, it appears like the red color of the sky just before the sun rises. After that, the mind of red appearance also dissolves. Then the mind of black appearance is manifested. At this stage, we imagine darkness appears in our mind. But our mind is so subtle, we feel as if we have fainted or fallen into unconsciousness. For example, the mind of black appearance dissolves then, and we immediately wake up from the darkness. So, for example, at nighttime, when we enter our room, the light is very dim. Immediately, when we switch on the light, our room is very bright and illuminated. So this is the process that occurs. After the white appearance dissolves into the red appearance, then the red appearance dissolves, and then there is this black appearance. And you feel as if you're just losing consciousness, like you're just going to sleep or fainting or something. And then, boom, all of a sudden, there's the white appearance.
It's not white.
I mean, the clear, I'm sorry, very bright. We wake up from the darkness. Sorry. It's clear. It's not
It's
the white.
clear.
It's clear.
The
All right. Yeah, so we'll keep going. So this is getting to the clear light mind. And this is what happens in the death process, although most of us are completely unaware of what's going on, and so we completely miss it. When the mind of black appearance dissolves, we actualize the clear light mind. This is the gold that he's talking about. We are back from the appearance of night to the appearance of daytime. Each and everything is very, very clear. There isn't any mental stain. The nature of mind is very pure. Whatever we perceive or whatever we think is very clear without any obstacle or obstruction. The nature of that mind is very clear. So what we do now in this particular meditation is we just abide in the clarity of this mind for as long as we can. And if at some time we try to use this mind as the wisdom of emptiness, it means we think emptiness as we are abiding in this clarity. Sometimes we train in bodhicitta with this mind. So I thought it was amazing that he gave us this practice. Because, I mean, Brian, I know you've often asked, well, what happens? What happens when we die? What's going on when we die? This is what, according to Buddhism, this is the experience that occurs. And I think we've all heard people say, I saw, they came back from a near-death experience and they talk about this white appearance and, all kinds of appearances that happen. So that is a very great process, a meditation to get to this clear light mind, the clarity of the mind. He also gave other meditations previously of how to stop thinking about the past, stop thinking about the future, and just focus right on the present moment of mind. And you can get to the clarity of mind in that way as well. So he's giving us just some really great practices to help us. So he said, this is a little bit of an introduction. Where are we? Okay. This is a little bit of an introduction in how to meditate on the clear light mind without using any tantric techniques. There are tantric techniques to do this as well. But I think this is great. As I said, with tantric techniques, you're going to have to get an empowerment, and you're going to have to, do the practices for those techniques to work at all. So this is just a simple way it's very important to understand the clear light mind. Through understanding the clear light mind, we gain all understanding. That's quite a statement. Much of our doubt and skepticism is eliminated with the study of this, with the study of the clear light mind. In a previous class, we discussed how to meditate on the conventional clear light mind. That's what I was talking about before. This is just one part of how we practice to reach the real state, the actual state of the clear light mind. So now he's going back into the perfections. We had left off at the perfection of patience. We had left off the perfection of patience, the fourth one. When we are talking about practicing the fifth perfection, which is called meditative concentration, we're talking about the practice of meditation. Actually, there are many kinds of meditation: analytical meditation, single-pointed meditation, visualization meditation, meditation through mantras. When we talk about a single-pointed meditation practice we can do that uses our own mind as the object, this clear light mind meditation is a unique one. So this meditation is we're using our own mind as the object of our meditation. In other meditations, we have other objects. We'll have like a Buddha statue or a picture of a Vitanga, or we'll be meditating on a mantra or something like that. But this, we're meditating on our own clear light mind. So it's pretty powerful. Through this kind of practice, sometimes we experience the clarity of our own mind. So this is a very important practice. Sometimes we train with our own breathing out and breathing in. Sometimes we practice with mindfulness of our body, mindfulness of our feelings, our mind and phenomena. Sometimes we take the image of a Buddha statue and meditate on that. This kind of meditation should be included in what is called single-pointed meditation, because we do this kind of meditation in order to enhance or improve our power of concentration, or single-pointedness of our mind, or the stabilization of our mind. When we meditate on the image of a Buddha statue or Thanga painting, first of all, we just observe and examine the Buddha statue or the painting very clearly with our eyes. We look very closely at each part and every aspect. Then we hold the image of that statue or painting in our mind. When we do the meditation, we never meditate with our eyes. We meditate with our mind. This means we already have looked at the picture or statue with our eyes. Then we hold the generic image of that statue or picture in our mind and familiarize ourselves with it. We continue in this way, and finally, without thinking too much, the image becomes clear in our own mind. First, it is conceptual, and eventually it becomes non-conceptual in nature. When we achieve realization of shamatha, it occurs in stages. Shamatha, as you may recall, is calm abiding. This calm abiding that comes through the single-pointed concentration. When we achieve realization of shamatha, it occurs in stages. I think we have discussed these stages many times before. You can find teachings on these stages of shamatha if you have time to read them. They can help us improve our meditation training or teach us how to do the meditation. When we're doing single-pointed concentration or single-pointed meditation, the main purpose is to achieve shamatha, or serenity, or calm abiding. Without achieving serenity or calm abiding, there's no way to achieve yogic perception, or the yogi's mind. To eradicate or to counteract the subtle level of grasping ignorance, we must achieve calm abiding, or shamatha, or serenity. This is not a difficult meditation. Even non-Buddhists achieve shamatha. This is common for both Buddhist and non-Buddhist paths. Once we achieve serenity or shamatha or single-pointed mind and get a realization of that, then we can use this in many different ways. When we meditate on emptiness, we use this mind. When we engage in tantric meditation, we use this mind. This is an important meditation skill in our life. First of all, we achieve shamatha. Then on top of that, we try to achieve vipassana, or special insight. Vipassana, special insight. Without achieving shamatha or serenity, there's no way to achieve vipassana. So it's very important to train in both. When we do meditation, we need both shamatha and vipassana. We shouldn't adopt just one or the other of these meditations. We should embrace both of them in our daily meditation. So then he held up this little sheet that we had, and he said, in this small booklet of the 4 mindfulnesses from the Reign of Accomplishments, and this was your question this morning, Kavita. The first stanza, he's going over what it's saying, what it's saying. Because Kavita this morning said, what is this about? And I tried to answer and I said, I don't have it on the tip of my tongue here.
That was last night.
Last night? Was it last night? The first stanza is about the mindfulness of one's guru. So it's about how to rely on one's guru
I did remember that.
in mind and in action, in our mind and in our actions. We've already discussed this. Then after that, the second one is the mindfulness of recollecting sentient beings. This is related with how we can achieve bodhicitta, which is the mind of enlightenment, the mind that wishes to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. This practice involves many, many other factors. In order to have the realizations of bodhicitta, first of all, we should go through the practice regarding the path of small capacity and the path of medium capacity. The path of small capacity for the Mahayana practitioner is that what we want to do is we want to generate enough positive karma that we can have a future rebirth as a human being and be able to continue our practices. So that's the small capacity. That's the path of small capacity. The path of medium capacity is that we can have a human rebirth, we can keep practicing the Dharma, take it all the way to a realization of emptiness and achieve cessation or liberation from samsara. And this is called nirvana. Nirvana means cessation. Nirvana is referring to being liberated from the suffering of this cyclic existence. That's the person of the medium capacity. That's their goal. Then there's the person of the highest capacity, which also wants to have a precious human rebirth, also wants to do all the practices to be liberated from the suffering of cyclic existence, but also wants to continue all the way to enlightenment, to be of benefit to all other sentient beings and to help them also be free from suffering and achieve the immeasurable joy of enlightenment. So those are what they call the 3 scopes, or he called them the 3 the capacities. So there's the small capacity, medium capacity, and highest capacity. In this path, we try to achieve bodhicitta. So in this path, we practice the highest capacity. That's the Mahayana practice. That's the great vehicle. That's what it means. We're practicing to get all the way to Buddhahood. So in this path, what we try to do is we try to achieve bodhicitta first. This mind, this awakened heart and mind that has the wish to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings, and eventually is determined to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. So the one is called aspirational bodhicitta, and the other is called engaged bodhicitta. So what we do is we try to achieve bodhicitta through 2 lineages that we talked about. As we discussed before, the 2 lineages can be combined into one, which is called synthesizing the 2 methods of generating bodhicitta. And so now he goes through this very succinctly. This starts with 1, training in equanimity. 2, remembering all sentient beings as our mother. 3, remembering their kindness. 4, repaying their kindness. 5, equalizing self and other. 6, reflecting on the demerits or faults of the self-centered attitude. 7, reflecting on the merits or positive qualities of the other-centered attitude. 8, the actual practice of exchanging self and other. 9, taking the suffering of all sentient beings upon yourself with great compassion. 10, giving all of your happiness to others, wishing them love. 11, the special recollection of the kindness of all sentient beings. If you recall, when he talked about this, he said we'd be nothing without other sentient beings. We couldn't achieve anything. We wouldn't even be able to survive without other sentient beings. So we owe everything to them. So we have a special recollection of the kindness of sentient beings. That's 11. 12, training in special resolve or altruism. And after that, training in bodhicitta. This is the synthesized version of the 2 methods into one. And at the stage that we're at, we just do this. We train in this step by step. We become familiar with it. We usually train in this when we're in our meditation or practice sessions, like in the morning. We would go through this. Then after that, if you wish to receive the Bodhisattva vows, this is very, very important. If you don't have any determination to receive the Bodhisattva vows, it's okay, no problem. But along with training in this stage of achieving bodhicitta, what we must do is we must practice the 6 perfections or paramitas, whether we have taken bodhisattva vows or not. This is really important. The 6 perfections are related to our day-to-day life and activities. In our meditation practice or in our practice session, we generate bodhicitta through remembering our mothers and their kindness, great compassion, and so on, all those things we went through. We practice this in our meditation session or our daily prayer session so that it becomes a habitual part of our practice and it eventually becomes part of our attitude. It becomes part of how we think, who we are, the way we approach everything, our attitude. Then we go in and engage in our daily routine or daily activities with this attitude, in our heart. The 6 perfections go together with this attitude, with the training in the bodhicitta. The 6 perfections go with this and support it. For example, we've already trained in the motivation of great compassion, great love, altruism, and bodhicitta. And then we engage in activities related with others, our family, friends, neighbors, community, and so on. At that time, when someone asks us to help them, we're still engaged in our normal, ordinary life. Although we have the option to help others, we sometimes just neglect them. Then what we are thinking and doing is the opposite of our training. So each and every time in the morning, when we do our practice, and then we go out into society or encounter other people, we remember the 6 perfections along with this altruistic attitude of bodhicitta. They go together. Then I think this will really have a positive impact on our own behavior and mental attitude. You're doing good. In our previous class, we've already discussed the first 4 perfections, the practice of the perfection of generosity, the perfection of ethical discipline, the perfection of patience, and the perfection of joyous, enthusiastic effort. That's what we left out.
Yeah.
And today, in the first part of this session, we have discussed meditation, or the practice of meditative concentration. That is the fifth paramita, the fifth perfection. So, out of the 6 perfections, the first 3, generosity, patience, and joyous effort, are related to the accumulation of our own positive potential. Those first 3 are about us. This is the method aspect of the path. This is related to the method aspect of the path. These we can call expressions of genuine love and compassion, and then bodhicitta, the altruistic intention. So as we train in generosity, as we train in patience, as we train in joyous effort, ethical discipline. Yeah, I wrote it down wrong.
Generosity, ethics, patience.
Yeah, generosity, ethics, patience. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. We're developing our qualities related towards others. You know, our willingness to be beneficent, to be compassionate, to help others, to be generous with others, to be patient with others. You know, so this is part of the method aspect of the path. When we practice the practice of the 4th perfection, the perfection of joyous effort, is common to the first 3, generosity, ethics, and patience, and it's also common to the last 2, meditative concentration and wisdom. So joyous, enthusiastic effort is in the middle, and it's common to both wings of the path. When we practice single-pointed meditation, which is part of the wisdom aspect of the path, we have to have joyous, enthusiastic effort. Without generating or developing joyous effort in our mind, there is no way for us to even start the meditations related with concentration and wisdom. The perfection of joyous effort is common to the first 3 perfections and the last 2 perfections. So as we discussed in our last class, joyous effort is very, very important. Joyous, enthusiastic effort contrasts with our laziness, which makes us feel, I can't do this or I can't do that. What laziness does is it makes us postpone our practice. If we have time to practice today, we just procrastinate. In addition to that, we are attached to meaningless activities. Although we have lots of time to practice, instead, we just enjoy gossiping and many other kinds of meaningless activities. When we weigh our meditation sessions against our meaningless activities, we choose the meaningless activity. And, you know, I have to say, until recently, this has been true. This has been true. I mean, the more you practice, the more you go, the more you're getting out of it, and you're realizing this is really transforming, and I have to continue with this, and it becomes something you just really, really want to do. This is because the reason we choose meaningless activities is because we don't have enough joyous, enthusiastic effort. So laziness can defeat us, and it can cause us to abandon our meditation practice. The last of the perfections is the perfection of wisdom. In the Reign of Accomplishments text, the last 2 stanzas are about wisdom understanding the empty nature of reality. This is talking about the mindfulness of emptiness. This is also divided into 2 parts. One's in the formal meditation, the other's in the post-meditation. In our formal meditation on emptiness, we think that each and everything has an empty nature. And then in the post-meditation, and this is important, and we'll probably end here. Well, we're just going to end here. And then in the post-meditation part, we just think, although all phenomena and persons appear to me as if they absolutely exist with an intrinsic nature, they actually don't exist the way they appear to me. This is the way we should be thinking during the day when things arise in our awareness, whatever that awareness may be. So, for example, the moon's reflection will clearly appear upon a body of still water at nighttime. But no one believes that the moon's reflection is actually the moon. We all know that that's not actually the moon. Then in our day-to-day life experience, although we know one single cause doesn't create everything, we point at all persons and phenomena as if they absolutely exist inherently from their own side as objective realities. This means whatever event or phenomenon appears to us, it appears to exist absolutely or intrinsically as an objective reality to us. So an understanding of emptiness helps us reduce those illusory deceptive appearances. And it's really true. It's very difficult for us to see all of this the way we see the moon reflecting on the water. We really are convinced this really does exist. And we've talked a lot about that. So with many highly realized lamas, and this is the last thing, whatever misfortune befalls on them, they stay very, very strong like a mountain. They never believe in those illusory, deceptive appearances. The main purpose of the study of emptiness is not only to eradicate our grasping ignorance. Studying and meditating on emptiness helps us to reduce many of our misconceived or illusory thoughts which disturb us in our day-to-day life. Those thoughts bring us a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, and a lot of suspicion in our mind. And that destroys our peace and happiness in our heart. Buddha Shakyamuni said in the Dependent Arising Sutra, if you see dependent arising, you see Dharma. If you see Dharma, you see the Buddha. If you see dependent arising, you see the Buddha. The Buddha does not exist inherently. The Buddha is a dependently arising phenomenon. So this stanza is very, very important, and we're really for there. Next time, I think the next time he goes into a big thing on emptiness, and I remember being transfixed when he was doing that. But wow, I'm telling you, I know he said these things, but I did not remember these things. And so, I mean, I'm so grateful that we have it recorded and that we can do this and that we can study and practice it, because these are teachings that our guru has given to us. And these are the teachings we're supposed to practice. So closing prayers, yeah?
In English, may the precious voting mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. May the view of emptiness not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. In all my rebirths, may I never be separated from true lamas, spiritual masters, and enjoy the magnificent Dharma. Sorry, this is the guru dedication at the top of the page.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
In all my rebirths,
May I never be separated from perfect spiritual masters and enjoy the magnificent Dharma, completing all qualities of the stages and paths. May I quickly achieve the state of Dharma.
May anyone who merely sees or hears, remembers, touches, or talks to me be instantly freed from all sufferings and abide in happiness forever. It is only from the kindness of my guru that I have met the peerless teachings of the Buddha. Thus, I dedicate all merit so that all sentient beings in the future may be guided by kind and holy gurus. And that's enough.
Okay. And that's it. And that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we went a little over time, but I'm glad we got that all done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot out of it, you guys. So I'm very happy to do it. I'm grateful that we
Well, it's just.
All right. See you all. See you, Arthur. Thumbs up to you too.
Don't forget, there'll be a quiz.
Bye,
next week.
Yeah. Bye, Claudia.
Quiz.
Bye, Eric. Okay, here it goes. Over and I have to stop my recording. Okay, stop the recording.
Hey, Eric.